but it's the only one I can think of, and I know it can be done. So I've had things happen to me where it's like, oh, what just moved my hand? That is crazy. So some people pray, thinking that will help it. As you know, some people believe all out on good and evil and stuff like that. So, and it would seem evil to be a puppet master or whatever. Bank of America, Citizens, Planet Fitness. So I was talking with the same friend who mentioned the Calgary Flames playing in a hockey game against the LA Kings during the fires, and we were talking about Planet Fitness. Of course, Planet Fitness is for lower income. You know, it sort of caters to people who are tired of paying really high gym fees. They don't have group classes, is what I recall. It's strictly a gym, no like fitness classes like, you know, yoga or whatever the latest craze is, and fitness class, Zumba or whatever. So it just comes down to, you know, hopefully you can get in there and it's not crowded, and hopefully people are nice and they're not hogging machines. You know, gyms can be their own little, you know, contentious environments depending on who shows up and who's on what machines and who says what. You know, everybody has their own idea as to the correct usage of machines. So then you have people coming up saying, oh, that's not how you do a lap pull or whatever, and you're like, you're pretty sure it is, and then someone tries to show you the wrong form and they're trying to get you harmed and everything. Like, are they hired by insurance companies? Speaking of, here's Independence Blue Cross, is where all the green is here. All these cars are backed up because they have to turn by the Comcast Center to go up 18th because the block is blocked from 17 to 18. So Independence Live. I see some green down here at buildings Commerce 1 and 2. I think they're called Commerce 1 and 2. It's a neat place to look at. You know, this is part of the financial business district, I guess. You know, there's not much happening on this side of Market Street. This is the west side of Market, west of City Hall. All the action's on the east side with all the neat billboards and everything. But, you know, it's a Friday night. No one's over here. But should we just look at it from across, or should we walk through? It is really pretty. Don't jerk me around again. I think we found our park. Some people have muscle twitches, you know, or some guys, like the bodybuilders and stuff, and their muscles will twitch incessantly, like at night, you know, like you have a boyfriend and you're like, God, his muscles are probably, twitching, puppeted all over the place. So the thing is, like, sometimes people try to help people out and come in and try to get rid of people who actually jerk people's muscles around. And I don't know how it's done. It's, you know, I'm not really an expert. I just know that someone had to come in and help me because of what began in 2011. It was really bad. It's in the super bad realm. So I had to learn about all this crazy stuff that usually only conspiracy theorists talk about, and it's like, really? You know, it's a honk fest. So the person waiting to turn wasn't honking, but sometimes people will play into a situation, and that's a very common area where people have to cross a crosswalk, so people could play into, let me just honk anyway, and it'll freak out the person in the crosswalk. It could be done, but it's a city, you know, although it's not that crowded up here tonight. way over here on the west side. This is a really pretty section to walk through. So, forgot about the Common Tree. So it's still lit, so. Sergeant Detective Thomas talking about something. This is CSNBC on the screen. So I don't watch a lot of shows that deal with, you know, scary stuff. So they always talk about what you feed your brain. I used to watch stuff like Law and Order back in the day, but anyway, sometimes I just love yoga and peaceful things, and hopefully you never have to deal with the ugly side of life. Helicopter above. Exchange, Boston Stock Exchange. What does stock mean? Could it mean people or money? That's how ugly it can get out there. Totally absent, you know, and I think people's brains are highly controlled sometimes, and people see through a certain lens, and it gets really violent out there, and a lot of people have to set aside their egos in order to accept, you know, it's hard to explain anyway. People have all these different roles in life, and maybe they don't get to be the boss all the time or control things, so you sort of have to set aside the ego and try to be, you know, as happy as possible, you know, pursue things that bring joy and peace. That's true in my case. I didn't have much of an ego, to be honest. So I know some people might see the pursuit of YouTube as selfish. It really isn't. I do this for protection, and also it brings maybe some entertainment, and then people who don't get to see Philadelphia can see it, and then if they ever visit, they'll be familiar with things. It makes it so much easier, because sometimes if you haven't been to a city and you're new to a large place, that can be a little bit confusing, or if you're from the suburbs and you're not used to cities at all, it's like, oh, I totally remember this, so I know to go this way or that way and not panic, you know, if you know, with or without a map, you know what I mean? These days, of course, you have GPS, but even still, it's like, oh, I know where I am, and you can feel more confident if you ever come up, like, oh, I remember when she walked on, that's it, there's a Dunkin' Donuts she talked about, you know. So, also, you know, I'm not married, I don't have any kids, you know, or a partner or anything, so in a way, it's a way to stay connected to family or friends if I, you know, for people who live far away, like, oh, I'll tune in to share and see what's going on with that crackpot. That's too funny. No, but hopefully I'm a friendly voice for the most part. You know, if I talk about certain things that have happened, I'm not that happy, but for the most part, I'm a safe, non-threatening person. I'm really proud of that. There are a lot of